Lecture 2. The theme is lexical units, word building. The plan of the lecture: word building, productive ways of word building, non-productive ways of word building. Word building is one of the main ways of enriching vocabulary. English word formation is the system of derivative types of words and the process of creating new words from material available in the language after certain structural and semantic formulas and patterns. The main distinction is made between two basic types of word formation: their word derivation and the word composition. The principal ways of forming words in word derivation are affixation and conversion. Words consisting of root and an affix or several affixes are called derived words, and this process of word formation is known as affixation. For example, establishment from establish, faceless from face, attractive from attract. Conversion is the process of making new words by changing one category of parts of speech from words of another. For example, a hand to hand, to make, a maker. Word composition is the formation of a new word by combining two or more stems which can occur in the language as free forms. For example, bank manager, troublemaker, highway, market leader, and so on. There are four main or productive ways of word building in modern English. They are affixation, word composition, conversion, shortening or abbreviation. There are also secondary or non-productive ways of word building: sound interchange, stress interchange, reduplication, sound imitation, blending, back formation. Productive ways of word building. Affixation is one of the most productive ways of word building throughout the history of English. It consists in adding an affix to the stem of a definite part of speech. Affixation is divided into suffixation and prefixation. Suffixation is the formation of words with the help of suffixes. The main function of suffixes in modern English is to form one part of speech from another. The secondary function is to change the lexical meaning of the same part of speech. There are different classifications of suffixes. They are: first, part of speech classification. Suffixes which can form different parts of speech fall into several groups: A. Noun-forming suffixes, B. Adjective-forming suffixes, C. Verb-forming suffixes, and D. Adverb-forming suffixes, and the last E is numeral-forming suffixes. The second is semantic classification. Suffixes changing the lexical meaning of the stem can be subdivided into groups. For example, noun-forming suffixes can denote A. the agent of the action, B. nationality, C. collectivity, D. diminutiveness, and E. quality. And the third is lexico-grammatical character of the stem. Suffixes which can be added to certain groups of stems are subdivided into A. suffixes added to verbal stems, B. suffixes added to noun stems, C. suffixes added to adjective stems. And the fourth is original suffixes. From the point of view of their etymology, suffixes can be subdivided into two main classes: native and borrowed suffixes. A. native, B. Romanic, C. Greek, and D. French. The fifth is productivity of derivational suffixes. It means the ability of being used to form new, occasional, or potential words. They can be following groups: A. Productive, and B. Non-productive. Prefixation is the formation of words by means of adding a prefix to the stem. In English, prefixes are more independent than suffixes. Prefixes can be classified according to the nature of words in which they are used, prefixes used in notional words and prefixes used in functional words. Prefixes used in notional words are proper prefixes which are bound morphemes. For example, unhappy. And prefixes used in functional words are semi-bound morphemes because they are met in the language as words. For example, over, overhead, over the table, overcome, over the door. The main function of prefixes in English is to change the lexical meaning of the same part of speech. Prefixes can be classified according to different principles. Semantic classification. Semantically, prefixes can be divided into monosemantic, that is, the prefix has only one meaning. For example, X and boxer, X boyfriend, and the polysemantic, that is, the prefix this has several meanings, not in disadvantage, reversal or absence of an action or state in words, diseconomy, disaffirm, removal in the word, to disbranch. According to their denotational meaning, prefixes fall into prefixes of negative meaning such as in, non, un, dis, mis, ill. B. Prefixes denoting repetition or several actions such as de, re. And the next, C. Prefixes denoting time, space, degree relations such as inter, hyper, ex, pre, over. Origin of prefixes. A. Native, B. Romanic, and C. Greek. When we analyze such words as adverb accompany, where we can find the root of the word, verb, company, we may treat ad, ag as prefixes through, though they were never used as prefixes to form new words in English, and were borrowed from Romanic languages together with words. In such cases, we can treat them as derived words, but some scientists that treat them as simple words. Another group of words with a disputable structure are such as contain, retain, detain, and conceive. Receive, deceive, where we can see that re, de, con act as prefixes, and tain, save can be understood as roots. But in English, these combinations of sounds have no lexical meaning and are called pseudomorphemes. Some scientists treat such words as simple words, others as derived ones. There are some prefixes which can be treated as root morphemes by some scientists. For example, after in the word afternoon. American lexicographers working on Webster dictionaries treat such words as compound words. British lexicographers treat such words as derived ones. Word composition or compounding is one of the productive ways of word building when a new word is formed by joining two or more stems. Compound words are inseparable vocabulary units that are structurally and semantically based on the relationship between their components through which they are motivated. The structural unity of a compound word depends upon the unity of stress, where compounds have three stress patterns. A high or uniting stress on the first component. B, a double stress with the main stress on the first component and with a second stress on the second component. Next, solid or hyphenated spelling. Next, the semantic unity and the unity of morphological and the syntactical functioning. Unity of morphological and syntactical functioning are used in a sentence as one part of it and only one component changes grammatically. There are two characteristic features of English compounds. A, both components in English compounds are free stems. That is, they can be used as words with a distinctive meaning of their own. The sound pattern will be the same except for the stresses. For example, a greenhouse and a greenhouse. And B, English compounds have a two-stem pattern, with the exception of compounds words which have form word stems in their structure. For example, middle of the road, off the record, up and doing, up and coming, down and out. Classifications of English compounds. The first, according to the parts of speech, compounds are subdivided into A, nouns, B, adjectives, C, verbs, D, adverbs, E, prepositions, F, numerals, and G, pronouns. The second, according to the way of components joined together, compounds are divided into A, morphological compounds, where components are joined by linking element, and the syntactical compounds, where the components are joined by means of form word stems with the help of linking elements represented by prepositions or conjunctions. And the third, according to the structure, compounds are subdivided into A, neutral or compounds proper, which are formed by combining together two stems without any joining morpheme. B, derivational compounds have affixes in their structure. C, compound words consisting of three or more stems. And D, compound shortened words have a shortened stem in their structure. Conversion is a characteristic feature of the English word building system. Conversion is treated differently by different scientists. Conversion is a highly productive way in the English word stock. Conversion consists in making a new word from some existing word by changing the category of a part of speech, the morphemic shape of the original word remaining unchanged. For example, nurse to nurse, hand to hand, face to face. The new word made from conversion has a different meaning from that of the word from which it was produced, though the two meanings can be associated. The converted word acquires also a new paradigm and a new syntactic function, which are peculiar to its new category as a part of speech. The main varieties of conversion can be presented as verbalization, substantiation, adjectivation, adverbialization. The two categories of parts of speech especially affected by conversion are nouns and verbs. In the group of verbs made from nouns, there are some regular semantic associations. Shortening, that is abbreviation. In the process of communication, words and word groups can be shortened. The causes of shortening can be linguistic and extra-linguistic. By extra-linguistic causes, changes in the life of people are meant. In modern English, many new abbreviations, acronyms, initials, blends are formed because the tempo of life is increasing and it becomes necessary to give more and more information in the shortest possible time. There are also linguistic causes of shortening words and word groups, such as the demand of rhyme and reason, which is satisfied in English by monosyllabic words. When borrowings from other languages are assimilated in English, they are shortened. Here we have modification of form on the basis of analogy. For example, the Latin borrowing fanaticus is shortened to fan on the analogy with native words man, pan, tan, and etc. Shortening of words consists in substituting a part of for a whole. In abbreviation came from Latin words brevis, meaning short. It is a shortened form of a word or phrase. Graphical abbreviations are the result of shortening of words and word groups only in written speech, while orally the corresponding full forms are used. They are used for the economy of space and effort in writing. The oldest group of graphical abbreviations in English is of Latin origin. In these abbreviations, Latin words are shortened in the spelling, while orally the corresponding English equivalents are pronounced in the full form. There are also graphical abbreviations of native origin, where in spelling we have abbreviations of words and the word groups of the corresponding English equivalents in the full form. The graphical abbreviations are words which are shortened into 2, 3, or 4 letters. We have several semantic groups of them: days of the week, names of months, names of countries, names of states, names of address, military ranks. Initial abbreviations are the bordering case between graphical and lexical abbreviations. When they appear in the language as a rule to denote some new offices, they are closer to graphical abbreviations because orally full forms are used. For example, JV, joint venture. When they are used for some duration of time, they occur the shortened form of pronouncing and become closer to lexical abbreviations. For example, BBC, British Broadcast Corporation, is as a rule pronounced in the shortened form. Initialisms are the way of making the new words from the initial letters of the word group. For example, www, World Wide Web. Acronymy is the formation of a word from initial letters of a word combination. There are two basic types of acronyms in English. They are initialisms with alphabetical reading, such as UK, FDA, and the next initialisms which are read as ordinary English words. For example, UNESCO, SOS, NATO, abbreviation of words consisting in clipping a part of a word. As a result, we get a new lexical unit where either the lexical meaning or the style is different from the full form of the word. Lexical abbreviations are classified according to the part of the word which is clipped. Mostly the end of the word is clipped because the beginning of the word in most cases is the root and expresses the lexical meaning of the word. This type of abbreviation is called apocope. Here we can mention a group of words such as disco, expo, exam, com, and many others. Non-productive ways of word building: sound interchange, stress interchange, reduplication, sound imitation, blending, backformation. Sound interchange is the way of word building when some sounds are changed to form new words which are differentiated due to alternation in the phonemic composition of the root. Stress interchange can be mostly met in verbs and nouns. And in reduplication, new words are made by doubling a stem, either without any changes as in bye-bye or with a variation of the root vowel or consonant. Sound imitation is the naming of an action or thing by more or less reproduction of sounds. Blendings are words formed from a word group or two synonyms. In blends, two ways of word building are combined: abbreviation and composition. And the backformation is the way of word building when a word is formed by dropping the final morpheme to form a new word. It is opposite to suffixation. That is why it is called backformation. At first, it appeared in the language as a result of misunderstanding the structure of a borrowed word. Now be ready to answer to the following questions. The first question: what are the main ways of enriching the English vocabulary? What are the principal productive ways of word building in English? What are the types of non-productive way of word building? What words are made by doubling a stem? What is understood by backformation? What two ways of word building are used in blends? What type of word building is made by imitating different kinds of sounds?